Hello, and welcome back to Chronically Joyful. I'm Kat Weston, and I am here with a public service announcement that honestly, I think I'm just going to stick to posting new videos once a week. I don't know if that's going to be Thursday or Sunday. It's feeling like Thursdays because the last couple of Sundays I've been gallivanting across the world. And by across the world, I mean spending more time with my parents and my family and my friends and being a person. So, in the honor of not overcommitting myself, we're going to be posting new things once a week right now. If I have more to talk about at any point in time, I will happily increase that cadence, but for the time being, I think once a week is going to do just fine. So, with all of that out of the way, let's get to today's topic. Let's have a chat about the gift of remaining unbothered, featuring my positive potato. I may be a tiny potato, but I believe in you. Go do your thing. Thank you, tiny potato. Let's talk about what it means to remain unbothered. And yes, this does kind of backtrack back to my other video about the let them theory, the stroll and ponder that we did many moons ago now, but wanted to unpack this a little bit further. So I actually do have notes this time, y'all. To kick us off, I would like to bring the Stoics back because you know how I feel about the Stoics. So to open up this conversation with a quote from the great Marcus Aurelius, "External things are not the problem. It is your assessment of them, which you can erase right now." In modern terms, all that is saying is that there's only the meaning that we individually give to every circumstance in our lives. Whether something is good or bad, that is completely up to the interpreter to come up with that assumption and assessment. So I am of the camp where I like to assume positive intent. I like to assume the positives in a circumstance versus the negatives. I.e., for a real life example here, you are in traffic on your way commuting to your daily office job. Somebody cuts you off doing like 98 miles an hour. You have two choices. One is to overreact in that moment, call that guy a big old turd, and have it ruin your entire morning. Two, he passes you doing 98 miles an hour and you just let it go. Yes, you can react. You could be like, that was crazy. That was totally terrifying. And I hope that person gets to where they're going in one piece, because you never know someone else's situation or circumstance. That man might be rushing to the hospital to see his baby be born. There might be somebody bleeding in the back seat. We just never know. So it is up to us to interpret the circumstances which are in front of us. Also, I apologize for the weird pausing in betwixt that. I had to kick Puddles out of this room. She was making a lot of noise behind me chasing her tail, so Puddles Cam, we'll see what's going on back there later. To keep this lovely and concise, as we always try to do here, I'm going to break this down into 5 different categories. So jumping right in the interest of time, we are already at 3 minutes, and this is not even including clip 1, my fun little experiment in the beginning of this video, which do leave feedback on whether you liked that or not. My editing skills are non-existent, so this is kind of fun for me. So point number 1. Nothing outside of you can impact your emotional weather unless you so choose to allow it to impact you. So that just comes back to my whole spiel that I love to do on this channel, my Instagram and my personal life, on my blog. I've been saying this ad nauseum for at least a year now, where it is up to us as individuals to react and respond to the situations that present themselves to us. All of that to say that nothing outside of you and the garden of your mind that I talk about all the time has the power to alter your equilibrium unless you give it that power. And this is a constant practice that I've been trying to remain mindful of in my day to day and trying to be intentional about the way that I approach problem solving and conversations with other people and just trying to do better in general, if I'm being honest with you, where I can say very much so that I am significantly less emotionally reactive than I used to be 2 years ago, for example. But in the moments where I'm triggered or if something happens that does make me have a visceral immediate reaction, I'm getting significantly better at like lassoing myself back and being like, girl, pull it back. Don't lose your mind. Don't go crazy. It's going to be fine. So lesson number 1, nothing outside of you can impact your internal emotional weather unless you let it. Just don't let it. I'm trying to make these fun. Number 2, true strength lies in the ability to remain calm, grounded, and surrendered to exactly what is in this moment. There is a great book out there. I'm going to actually pause to look up the author because I don't want to be a bobo. The book is called Loving What Is, and it is written by Byron Katie. I have this book on my shelf out there, and I loved it so much. The basic gist at a very high level here is that this woman, it's basically a memoir where she talks about how she used to be incredibly emotionally overreactive and constantly disappointed by the people around her because they just weren't doing life the way that she would have chosen to do it. And she was just really angry and full of disappointment at all times because they weren't her. And they weren't behaving and performing in ways that she personally would. And she just internalized that and had all of this ick until one day she woke up, realized that you cannot control other people, and just found beautiful peace. Remember, that is the high level. I recommend the book to anyone who is interested in things like this. I really enjoyed the read personally. I think I dog tagged some pages and took some notes. So, bringing it back to point number 2, true strength lies in the ability to remain calm, grounded, and surrendered to exactly what is. I'm trying to think of an example for this now, just because bringing it back to real life experience honestly really just drives these points home. And a good example of this is through the last week and a half, I've been experiencing optic neuritis, diplopia symptoms just because my stress levels are higher. It's performance management season at work. I'm a people leader. I really care about my people and their development. So just having a lot of pressure and still having to keep the lights on in my day job, it's been excruciating to say the least. But with that, there's onsets. I've had severe cog fog. Like my synapses in my brain are just not firing at the rate of speed that they normally do, and they are not connecting the dots the way they usually do as efficiently as my normal everyday life. But what I have chosen to do is only try to control the things that I can control. So for me, in this specific example, I can control how I prepared for performance management sessions at my job. I made sure I met with my people. They felt really confident in what they gave me. I turned that into something I could use in the sessions. It went abundantly well, better than I expected. I'm very happy. But in this too, I practiced box breathing, which I have spoken about on this channel and on my blog before. I made sure I remained calm, grounded, returning to the practices that I do every single day. I start every day, I take Puddles outside and I step in the grass barefoot unless it rained, because that's awful. And I remind myself that I am alive. I am alive. And I am a human being on this planet at this time doing my thing. And I can control my emotional ocean, I guess we'll call it, because it's wavy, just like me. But I am surrendered to circumstances exactly as they are right now. And if I see something unfavorable, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. and be like, that's not ideal and that's going to really bother me, I'm going to notice it. I'm probably going to sit with it, journal about it, really think about it, and then think a layer deeper in why am I feeling so off balance about this one circumstance? And then just remind myself, I'm not here to control what other people are doing. I am only here to experience and control my own perception of how I'm interpreting things. Remove the drama from your life. Sorry. Remove the drama from your life, because what this does, it allows you to shift your focus to the things that actually matter. So this is such an interesting one because people actually interpret drama completely differently depending on your circumstances, your situations, the people around you, XYZ. Thinking of a personal example that ain't too personal, I will say I am caught on the edge of a little bit of drama that is not directly related to me as a person, but is directly related to people that I care about very, very deeply. So what removing myself from the drama looks like and shifting focus, I am still holding space for the people that are directly impacted, and I am there unconditionally and always will be for them. Where the removal of the drama comes in, though, is when I start hearing telephone happening in my inner circles from the people who are also kind of inadvertently related. I hear no evil. I personally choose not to engage with anybody on the subject matter unless it is helping more than it is hurting. It is information sharing that is essential for all parties. But if there's any whispers of what other people think about this circumstance, I'm a safe space. Tell me. It will never go anywhere else, but I'm not going to internalize that and have that sway my opinions later. And if it starts turning into trash talking, I'm going to leave the room. I'm not interested in that. I am only here for the greater good of people. If you want to vent to me, 100% you are so welcome to do so. I'm a safe space, like I said. It will never leave me unless you personally ask me to share information on your behalf, which people usually don't. That's weird. I'm not a third-party liaison here. But I will offer you unconditional love and support. I'm just not getting involved in your specific dramatic circumstances. I've had enough of my own over the last couple of years to have learned some very concrete lessons in this arena that for the first time in a really long time, I can very proudly say my life is incredibly drama-free, and what it's done for me is bring me deep, deep satisfaction and deeper peace. So, bringing it back to point number 3, remove the drama from your life and shift your focus to the things that matter and the things that you want to be doing to make you grow. Mr. Avocado, one of Puddles' favorite toys, wanted to help me with this number 4, this 4th point. Mr. Avocado, would you like to take it away, sir?
Yes. Shift relationship dynamics from reaction-oriented to reflection. Yay!
Thank you, Mr. Avocado. We appreciate your contribution. Shifting dynamics from being really reactionary to more reflective. And I don't even want to say responsive. I've talked about that pretty ad nauseum too, where instead of reacting in the moment, I'm trying to take space, breathe a little bit, and then choose to respond later. That is not what this is. Instead of reacting, I'm now trying to think of it more so as an opportunity to reflect, which can go in tandem with responding. But before even getting to that point, so I guess it would be instead of reaction, reflection, and then response. The 3 R's! Except we don't want to be reacting. That's something I'm trying not to do. but instead taking the time to truly reflect on what is before me and really sit with it. That is what number 4 is all about, is that intermediary period before you go back to the person and you respond. No, this is the moment for just you to sit in reflection over whatever just happened, whether it's good, bad, the ugly, but just making sure that you are taking the space that you desire to actually really think about it. And I know that sounds really baseline simple, but it truly, at the end of the day, it is, just because before you're able to eloquently respond to something, you gotta think about it, but go a layer deeper and really reflect. And what this actually looks like in practice for myself personally, because I can only speak from my point of view here. I am not a professional in this arena. I've just lived with MS for the last 12 years and have had a lot to think about and a lot of time to do so. But just that reflection period is becoming so critical for me, because it just, I'm journaling now for the first time in pretty much forever, and I'm enjoying it because it is so not baseline expectation. I did write myself a letter in my journal the other day, though. It was very much like, "Dear past me," which is like the standard journaling practices that people automatically assume. But that reflection, I start with a sentence of something that upset me. I am experiencing optic neuritis, and I'm scared that I'm entering a flare state or I'm progressing, as an example here. I then sit with that for a minute. I incorporate this in tandem with my meditation practices just to make it a mindful exercise. That's what we're going to call it. But I basically will write that at the top of the page, like, what is it that is eating at me right now? And I'll sit with it for a minute. I'll breathe with it. I will sit and I will observe how it feels in my body. Where am I tense about this? What parts of me are reacting to this? And then I start doing what I like to call the reverse exercise, where I just start basically free-form writing all of the things that scare me. I'm progressing. I'm having a flare. All of the things that I talk about on this channel aren't working. I'm full of shit. I am a phony because I'm feeling like crap with my MS. And who am I to be starting a YouTube channel talking about chronically joyful and being positive when I'm feeling anything but? But that's real. So I'll write all of these things on the page just for me. I don't share this kind of thing. I share the learnings I get from it with all of you because I think it's helpful. But I basically take it, and then I like to play the reverse-ease game. So it'll be like, I'm experiencing optic neuritis symptoms. My eyes hurt. But that does not mean that I am entering a flare state, that I am progressing. I am just in a moment due to high stress. There are causes, whether or not they're the actual causes, who knows? MS is very mysterious. We all know that. But I'll kind of just tear it apart, parse it apart, if that's even a right phrase here. And I'll sit with it, and I'll not rationalize it, but I will just allow myself to feel exactly how I'm feeling. But then I will try to bring it up over here on this side where it's just like, well, this doesn't mean it's a doom and gloom sentence of I'm going to start regressing and progressing and going downward. It just means that I'm having a spell. We'll call it a spell. I'm having a rough spell with symptoms, and there's possible reasons for it. And all that I can do is acknowledge it, observe it, but not internalize it. Bringing that back to removal of the drama from my life, I'm going to choose to shift my focus elsewhere and see that this is happening to me, really feel it, know I'm experiencing it, but not let it rule my life from that point forward is what I'm trying to say here. So just, I guess, integrating it to the rest of my day, where Real-time example right now. I'm going to record this, probably continue cursing at Canva because I'm having a really hard time with the audio. You're probably going to hear typewriter sounds where they're not supposed to be when I export this. But like really take my time with this. I have other projects I'm looking forward to working on this evening. And just knowing that even though I'm experiencing cog fog and vision symptoms as per usual for me, it's not the end of the world. It's just a part of me right now. And it will get better. It always does. Everything always gets better. So, point number 4, shift your reactive state into that reflective state and just allow yourself to experience it fully before even trying to respond. As a trained presenter, this is going to kill me because I need to read this off of my double screen for a second here. My 5th and final point. I just want to get one thing straight with you all. Staying calm is not the same thing as staying complacent. It doesn't mean you never strike. It just means you're preparing. It doesn't mean you don't speak up. You don't stand up for yourself. You don't push back when appropriate. That is not what staying calm means. Calmness is its own type of surrender in the sense where I like to look at it now as a preparation period. Where if someone wrongs me and I'm practicing actively, not reacting in the moment, because I have Spitfire tendencies inside me to snap back and I will come at you and I will take you out. But I'm trying not to be that person anymore. I'm trying to go about this a little bit more strategically, I suppose. So in choosing to remain calm and unbothered by the world, that doesn't mean that you get to walk all over me and I'm not going to strike back. That's not what that means. I call this the preparation period because for the people who wait, observe, and position themselves carefully, they're often the ones who, when they do strike, they strike with the biggest impact and the biggest force. Anyone can throw a punch in anger in the moment, in a reaction, just like, that's against my values and I'm going to strike back in this moment. But only in the mindset and the state of being completely unbothered by what everyone else is doing, will that strike come with a purpose too. So when I'm saying the art of remaining completely unbothered by the world around you, I'm not saying stop caring. I am not saying let the world walk all over you and kick your foot and say, darn, that one just didn't go as planned, and then just walk away. I am just suggesting lovingly, softly, and politely that instead of being reactionary in the moment and probably making an ass of yourself, as I've done so many times before, it doesn't feel good after to like lose your cool and then have to be like, my bad. I'm sorry that I said that. I didn't actually mean it. I was in the heat of the moment. But instead, taking that reflection period to really think about and consider what just happened and sit with it. Also sit with it for a day or two. It's like the art of not going to bed angry. You don't want to go to bed angry with your partner just because that leaves bad juju for the next day. But for something other than that example, sit with it for a period of time, because people today, especially with technology and our shorter attention spans every minute of every day, sitting with how you're feeling and reflecting for a period of time before actually giving your response, it is going to be a way more impactful response than you would have had if you were just like, I'm going to attack you. So don't let the art of remaining unbothered take away your inner strength, your positive side of your Spitfire nature. I'm still absolutely a Spitfire. I'm just a lot more, I guess I'll say, reserved about it, where I'm not trying to be explosive. I'm trying to be intentional. So, strike with purpose more than just brute power is point number 5. So as a polite little synopsis here, I'm going to read my notes again, so forgive me. But point number 1, nothing outside of you can impact your internal emotional state unless you let it. Do your best not to let it. Point number 2, true strength lies in the ability to remain calm and unbothered, grounded and surrendered to exactly what is in this now moment. And to add a little bullet point to that one too, to just focus on the things that you can control. Most of this life, I'm going to say 90% of this life, we cannot control. We are just organisms on this planet with the rest of the trees, leaves, and everything in between. We can control our reactions, responses, decisions to a certain degree. So, remain calm, unbothered, grounded, and surrendered to exactly what is in this moment, and do not let anything outside of you impact your emotional weather. I wrapped 1 and 2 together for you. 3, remove the drama from your life and shift your focus to the things that actually matter. I'm leaving that one there. 4, shift your relationship dynamics from reactionary to a state of reflection. Because when you go into the reflection zone, from there, you choose to respond. And we can just throw the reactions out the door to be a bit more grounded in the way that we live our lives. And my 5th and final point in this lovely video, all about the beauty and art of remaining unbothered in this life, is not to bow down or give up on the things that you feel passionately about, especially when conflict arises, and to just take it and let people walk all over you. Instead, choose to approach these moments from a grounded position and look at it as preparation. Because when your preparation period is over and you're ready to spring, it's going to have a greater impact than if you just exploded out like a can of those magic snakes, like, oh, the first time you actually tried. So, I will close this lovely little excerpt with another Stoic quote from Viktor Frankl. And it is, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. So, thank you for joining me on this lovely episode of Chronically Joyful. Again, let me know your comments down below. Give me feedback on if you want me to actually keep the 2-week cadence going. I think we can try out 1 video a week and see how it goes. Thank you to the 26 people who are here. I love to see this space grow and have appreciated all of you being here so much. So thank you so much for joining me today. Let's go see what Puddles is doing, because it's oddly quiet out there and I trust no one. The best lesson that I have recently learned is her little treat Kong that I leave her when I go to work. Leave 1 treat that is too large for the hole for her to get out. It is perfect puppy entertainment to spare my curtains and my couch. Thank you, Miss Puddles. We appreciate your contributions.